999ers risk their lives every day, keeping us safe.
My heart was racing, but you just do it because you're a police officer.
But all too often, they're abused and attacked.
I have been punched, kicked, spat at, sworn at. I think most of us have.
These personal attacks on police, firefighters and paramedics are at an all-time high.
I could feel the blood running through my shirt.
He grabbed me around the throat with both his hands,
Leaving them traumatised and unable to work.
It's then left me questioning, is this the job that I want to carry on with?
But while the violent criminals responsible are hunted down and brought to justice, our protectors fight to get well and back on the job.
I'm not going to get beaten by somebody decided they're going to try and hurt me.
Ready to face the next critical incident.
Stand still! Police routine, just show yourself!
Coming up, a West Midlands police officer saves the life of a seriously injured stab victim.
The doctor did say, he says, well, without that blood clot there, she would have bled out.
We find out what it takes to become a police horse in the mounted section of Avon and Somerset.
What makes a good police horse is basically all about the attitude. They're flight animals, and what we are asking them to do is the complete opposite of that.
And a specialist task force tackles crime in the Greater Manchester area.
When the individual realised that he wasn't going to get away, we started to discard evidence through quite a large machete from the vehicle.
When he joined West Midlands Police, aged 36, Rod Lenton was older than your average rookie PC.
I think one of the reasons I was ready to join them was my life experience, because I'd worked in a factory, I'd managed people in factories, I had 2 children, I was more assured of myself, I had lots of friends, and you get a feeling it's the right time to join the police, and mentally I thought I was well equipped to deal with what was coming.
Becoming a family man prompted Rod to take a first aid training course, gaining him skills that would prove essential even before his police career.
When I had children, I thought I needed to know everything, first aid-wise. So, in the factory I was on at the time, I went on an advanced first aid training course, a 5-day course, which was quite intense, and 3 days later, a chap collapsed in the factory. I went into cardiac arrest, and I had to do CPR and mouth-to-mouth for 45 minutes before the ambulance got her.
But when Rod joined the police force, he was truly shocked at the scenes he faced on a daily basis.
Mentally, you do have to be strong with the things that you come across, the stabbings, the car crashes, which are horrendous scenes. At first, you're like a rabbit in the headlights, but you just continuously learn. You just try and do the best you can, and you know, but it does get a little easier the older and more experienced you get.
He's the officer that you would want to come to your incident. He's compassionate. I'd describe him as a brave officer. He's quite happy to get involved in some. I've seen him involved in a number of sort of critical incidents where he's given CPR and worked tirelessly to try and save people's lives. So overall, brilliant officer.
Recent figures revealed the West Midlands as having the second highest number of reported violent crimes in the UK. Having now served in frontline response for 18 years, Rod has often been at the receiving end of violent behaviour.
You do get injured on and attacked and various things. I think I hadn't been in long when I discovered a bloke who had been badly beaten up, and I was dealing with him, and he stabbed me with a massive screwdriver out of the blue. I've been slapped, punched, kicked, bitten, spat at, things thrown at me, doors slammed in my head. But you just get accustomed to a level of violence to the point where you're not shocked. You're not shocked at what you see, what people do, and what people can do to each other.
In the early hours of the morning in May 2019, Rod and his colleague were called out to a violent stabbing in the Hillfields area of Coventry.
If generally there was going to be a bit of trouble, it will be Hillfields or that area. And there's been lots of, in my time, stabbing, shootings in that area. With stabbings and things like that, we're always apprehensive because we're going into the unknown again. We don't know what we're going into. So I got to the scene, but an ambulance had already arrived. The colleague I was with he's very young in service. You're aware of this. I immediately go over to the injured party and he'll secure the scene, be the eyes and the ears of the surrounding area. So he will keep a lookout, which he did, and call in extra units, what he sees, and things like that over the radio. I went to this lady that's on the floor, and she's absolutely covered in blood. But the thing I noted was that she had a down-filled coat on that was badly ripped, and it was full of blood.
The victim had a number of injuries, so the paramedics desperately needed Rod's help.
She'd been stabbed around the heart. There was 3 or 4 stab wounds around the heart, a desiccated shoulder, mouth. Her mouth was cut open really bad as well, so she's struggling to, and it was just the amount of blood in her mouth as well. So I was conscious she was losing a lot of blood, and the paramedic, he said her neck. And then I saw on the left side of her neck a stab wound to her neck. And the blood was just pulsing out.
Not for the first time, Rod's advanced first aid training was put to the test.
When I joined the police, I thought there's going to be a time where you are saving people's life, regardless of how, even if you're getting them out of a fire, out of a car, a stab victim or anything. So I honestly think that I was quite well equipped for the first aid side of it, at least. So I put my hand over the wound, but I could feel the blood pulsing onto my hand, and then where the wound was, I put my finger inside and slid it up to the artery, and then I could feel the blood pulsing onto my finger, end of my finger, so I just held it. And I kind of tried to remember my first aid, but I was thinking, I know that blood coagulates, so I was thinking if I could slow it down enough for it to start to clot. So I put my finger inside her neck and held it there. And then just calmly spoke to her about what happened. And then she would, she'd go quiet. And then you'd think, oh, okay, I think this is it. And then she'd start talking again, and you keep prompting her to talk.
With all of his attention focused on the victim, Rod hadn't given much thought to the attacker.
I just remember thinking, the knifeman, I hadn't even looked for him. He could have been stood around, but I didn't. And then I had a quick kind of, you come back to reality a little bit, and then you have a little look about.
When you attend to a critical incident like that, you're thinking of everything, preserving evidence, potential offenders being there, witnesses will be videoing you, people expect you to act when you turn up, so you've got all those things going through your mind, but ultimately you're there to save somebody's life. That's your primary function, really. And then we pick up the arrest and everything else afterwards.
At this point, you're trying to get any information you can. You're trying to calm yourself down, trying to rationalise everything, trying to ask the right questions.
Through talking to the victim, Rod was able to find out the reg number of a car associated with the attacker and a description of the male. Other officers arrived at the scene, allowing Rod to travel in the ambulance with the victim as she was rushed to the hospital.
When we got to the hospital, my finger was still in the neck. And then I slowly were in majors with the doctors, so I pulled it out, and the blood had technically, it slowed right down to almost stop. And then he came out and said that where the neck wound was, there was a nice blood clot formed against the artery that had stemmed the flow, like a little plug. He says, well, without that blood clot there, she would have bled out at the time.
He's ultimately saved somebody's life by knowing what to do, putting his fingers onto the wound and compressing that wound. Had he not have been there and somebody who wasn't trained or as experienced, that might not have been the same outcome.
Shortly after the incident, the attacker was tracked down and arrested. He was convicted at Warwick Crown Court of attempted murder and possession of a bladed article. He was sentenced to 25 years in prison.
The lady in question did make a full recovery. I have met her once, and she's thanked me for what I did.
I know a number of incidents where Rod has personally been involved in saving people's lives. He's an absolute professional, and I'm really proud. We are now first on the scene very often, given there's delays with ambulances, as we all know. Police are very often the first on the scene for shootings, stabbings, major critical incidents. It's essential that we are there as that first line of defence to save people's lives.
For violent crime, we're second in the country, but we try our hardest, we do what we can. It is getting better. The officers have become more experienced, and more resources are getting put into the West Midlands Police and things like that. So hopefully, we'll bring it back down.
Rod has become a highly valued member of West Midlands Police. And at home, he's got a wall dedicated to his accomplishments to prove it, including an award for saving the stab victim's life.
It's the accumulation of 18 years. There's various commendations and Crown Prosecutor's Award, Chief Constable's, and also the Royal Humane Society Awards. You're proud of all your awards that you get, but it's just, you're a police officer, your job is your job. You don't join the police for awards, you join to try and make a difference and do the job to your best ability.
Rod's family are extremely proud of his achievements at work. He's been in the force the whole of daughter Bronte's life.
As you grow up, you sort of notice more the importance of what he's up to and what he actually does and how hard it can be for him, so it's just supporting him, really. I just know that I've got confidence in him and what he does, and I know he's always trying his hardest, doing his best, so obviously he's a massive inspiration for me. It's nice to know that other people kind of look up to him as well, and he's my role model as well, so.
In July 2021, in Queen Square Shopping Centre, West Bromwich, two PCs were on patrol to reassure the public after recent violence in the town. They spotted two men with backpacks, suspiciously wearing heavy clothing in 30-degree heat. They were joined by a woman. As part of the violence crackdown, the police had been given extra powers, known as Section 60 powers, to carry out stop checks. so the officers followed them into the town centre to search them.
Right, stop there a minute.
The two men pulled out knives and started lunging at the officers.
Stop now! Stop!
They tried to spray the knife men with pava gas, but the violent attack continued.
Got two people, News West Brom. They've got a knife. Two people got a knife. Jermaine Wales got a knife. One person's been here. One person's been here with a knife. Get back! Get back now! Get back! Get back now!
One officer had the knife repeatedly stabbed into his back, but was fortunately protected by his stab vest. His hand was slashed as he grabbed the knife blade. Although both officers received head wounds, they managed to restrain both men who continued to resist arrest. When their rucksacks were searched, they contained a number of weapons, including an imitation gun, a machete, a large amount of cash, and balaclavas. In Wolverhampton Crown Court, both men pleaded guilty to the charge of possessing offensive weapons. They were also found guilty of wounding with intent and possession of an imitation firearm. Still to come, an Avon and Somerset police horse models his riot gear.
It's to protect the horse's eyes should anyone try to throw anything at them. The battle.
And a proactive policing team cracked down on criminals in Manchester.
There's some information on the vehicle that suggested that it's maybe involved in drug supply, so we thought we'd give it a stop to search.
Technology plays a major part in our everyday lives. And it's enabled law enforcement to become more efficient and effective over the years. But one form of policing is as old as the force itself, and is still a linchpin for many operations. Mounted police are a unit of officers who patrol on horseback, ideal for high-visibility crime prevention. The oldest recorded mounted police force is the London Bow Street Horse Patrol, which was established in 1758 and patrolled the country roads around London. The Mounted Patrol section of Avon and Somerset Police play an instrumental role in spreading a positive image and engaging with their community.
Being on the horses massively breaks down the barriers. People have a reason to come and speak to us because they want to come and see the animal. It's a really good way to build a relationship with the public.
If you're in a police car or if you're on foot in uniform, people won't approach you, they won't be interested in talking to you. But when you're on a horse, people do want to do that, so you can talk to people, show the other side that you are just a person, and then people are more willing to give you information as well. So today we're patrolling Bristol, we're in Bedminster. This is a new police horse that we've got, Max, and this is Blaze. Max is still in training. He's been with us for about 4 months now, so this is the first time he's ever been to Bristol. It's a little bit busier than what he's done before. And then we've brought Blaze to accompany him because he's an established police horse that we've had for a while, so he takes confidence from Blaze if we need it.
We're going to be patrolling past Ashton Gate Stadium and heading into the town centre area of Bedminster and see what's going on.
Personally, I think it's the best job in the world.
I always wanted to be a police officer, and when I realised that I could do the role as police officer on horses, I thought, what a fantastic thing to do. Anyone who's ever been around horses will know what amazing animals they are. They're really sort of in touch with you emotionally. You can build such a massive bond with them. They're just fantastic animals, and I really enjoy working with them.
It's a real team effort to keep the police horses fit, healthy and ready for service.
The mounted section has 1 sergeant, so that's me. There's 12 PCs, we have 1 inspector, and then we've got 4 grooms and a stable manager. And then we generally have up to about 13 horses at any one time.
Natalie Box has been a groom with the mounted section for 18 years.
Hello.
And is involved in all aspects of the police horses' welfare.
I start at 7 a.m. and I'll come in and I'll give them their breakfast. And then it's the mucking out, which is probably the least favourite job of anybody that does this. Check them for any injuries they might have picked up overnight, which they can do. Somerset is wearing a massage pad. He has this on every day and it helps to keep his back nice and soft and the muscles not too tight. And it just vibrates away, you can feel here. And it really helps the muscles on his top line to stay nice and strong and in good condition. As grooms, we do also exercise and ride the horses when the officers aren't in.
So day to day we'll go on a normal patrol and that will be anywhere in the force, ranging from Bristol all the way down to Yeovil, targeting antisocial behaviour, drug dealing, that kind of thing.
Going to schools to deliver educational sessions to children. General patrols around towns and cities where we will deal with any jobs that we might come across, and this can be anything from collisions on the road to shoplifters or stop and search of people. We also then go to what we call public order jobs.
That would be things like football matches, any protests and any big scale events. So things like music festivals like Glastonbury would be a big one for us in Badminton horse trials.
There are plenty of advantages to policing on horseback, especially where large crowds are involved.
Your view is greater than everybody else because you're about 12 foot off the ground, so you can see if there are any fights or if anything is happening that we need to know about, and we can let the other officers know. We're also able to get to places quicker than an officer can on foot.
You have to think about the safety of the horse, but also the safety of the public around you. The animals can move very quickly, but the most important thing is to encourage the horse, to keep them calm, and being aware of your surroundings and making sure that you're putting them in as safe a position as possible.
To prepare police horses for large-scale public order events takes time, patience and specialist training.
What makes a good police horse is basically all about the attitude. In the wild, horses would run from loud noises or anything that scares them. They're flight animals. And what we are asking them to do is the complete opposite of that. So they have to be very special types of horses. We do things we call nuisance training, so getting the horses used to loud noises, things like getting them used to crowds. The idea is that by the time they do face any kind of disorder, they're so confident in their rider and in their training that actually it takes them right through. That is one of the most rewarding parts of the job, really, getting involved in the training and seeing the horses progress.
But officers on horseback can often find themselves exposed to violent and unpredictable situations.
Sometimes missiles can be thrown, and that can be varying from glass bottles, coins and flares. And we have been targeted before with that, and you know, we're quite a big target because we're so high off the ground. It's quite easy to actually hit us if they wanted to. The horses are trained not to run away from that where possible. Sometimes they'll still react, but it's definitely a lesser degree.
Before attending any large-scale events, the officers and horses will wear protective equipment to prevent any potential injuries.
We are tacking up Mendip now in what we call our public order kit. So we'll start with the nose and face guard. So this is to protect all the soft structures in his face here. Again, this is something else to protect them, so it'll go over their face, and it's to protect the horse's eyes should anyone try to throw anything at them. It doesn't cause him any discomfort. He can wear this for hours at a time.
They also wear fleece-lined boots with knee pads and hoof protection.
Put the baton into the holder. And that's our horse in their public order protection gear now. When facing a hostile crowd, it can be quite intense, it can be quite intimidating. The horses can sometimes get a little bit scared, so you need to take the time to encourage them and make sure that they know they're going to be safe. However, our horses are very used to crowds now, so it's just having that trust and that bond to let them know that it's okay, so that we can go about and complete our job safely.
Dealing with the public order incidents themselves is not necessarily particularly frightening at the time because you're there to do a job and that's what we train to do. And then afterwards, it tends to be then where you start thinking, actually, we had quite a close call then, so it can be quite frightening at that point.
After policing a volatile incident in Bristol, Hannah and Rowan, along with their colleagues in the Mounted Patrol section, were honoured with the first ever Police Horse and Officer Action of the Year Award in 2021. But when they're not keeping law and order, they love nothing more than to spend time with their own animals and just hang out for the sheer joy of it.
You don't have to have horses outside of work, but most people have an interest and a passion in them. It's now my life, and I wouldn't change it.
Hi, Bobby. Can you say hello to the sausages? Oh.
Maybe not.
So I've got my own horse as well. His name's Rio. I do a little bit of competing on him, show jumping and eventing.
I'm doing a smile. That's nice. That's so funny.
Government figures show that in the year up to June 2021, a total of 724 serious knife crimes were recorded in the county of Northamptonshire. These included 2 murders, 369 assaults involving a knife which resulted in an injury, and 224 robbery offences involving a knife. So tackling knife crime is a priority for Northamptonshire Police. In May 2021, officers were called to Northampton Town Centre after reports that a man had been threatening members of the public with a knife. As the suspect tried to escape, they gave chase and one PC tackled him to the ground and made a swift arrest. The offender was charged with possession of an offensive weapon in a public place. He was sentenced to 6 months in prison, suspended for 18 months. In Manchester, DS Daniel Worthington and his team are preparing for another night of tackling local criminality head-on. They take a proactive approach to policing, where they go in search of known offenders. DS Worthington helped set up the Special Task Force in April 2020.
Operation Naseby was set up in response to a series of firearms discharges that we experienced in the Salford district of Greater Manchester. I was asked to put together a proactive policing operation, basically, to try and target individuals that we believed who were involved in this dispute in the firearms discharges, in a hope to try and disrupt that activity and hopefully reduce the the occurrences of these serious and violent incidents. We use quite a lot of officers from the specialist operations departments. For officers to work in Operation Naseby, we're looking for people who have got a passion for proactive policing. They've got the instincts, the right instincts to know what they're looking for, to target the right people.
PC Anthony McClern is a response officer, but as part of Operation Naseby, his work is more targeted.
So we go after the drug dealers, we go after the people who are obviously dealing firearms or have intelligence to deal firearms.
We've got some information that there's several vehicles believed to be stolen and bearing false number plates that are frequenting the area, basically. So that's what we're hoping to find. Intelligence is massively important to the success of any operation. We absolutely rely on it as part of Operation Naseby. And we have an excellent team of intelligence officers who are constantly out there gathering information from various sources.
So there's a black Polo.
Yep. Black Polo, white Cougar, grey Abarth.
When we get information given to us, we can go out and disrupt them by stopping them in vehicles. We'll go out on foot if need to. We go out and do warrants. We do house searches. We go out and get arrests off if we believe they are suspects of crime.
He's going to go left in.
Also key to the operation is chasing the criminals down, and fast.
Ahead of us now on this road. When I was asked to set up the operation, the first thing that I identified was that regular police patrols, it's rare now that criminals will stop for them. So we absolutely need the tactical pursuit drivers as part of the team to be able to engage with people that won't stop. The most predominant team that works alongside us are the Tactical Vehicle Crime Unit. They have the right training, they have the right equipment.
That's the clone, where is it?
So it's going to be coming towards the roundabout at the top of Clegg Lane.
PC Oliver Rose brings a specific and crucial skill set to the Naseby team.
So I'm part of the Tactical Vehicle Intercept Unit, and we basically target criminals using marked and unmarked vehicles. We deny criminals access to the road. So we'll be looking for any stolen cars, cars on false plates, or any live incidents like kidnappings, carjackings, anything like that. And we're a force-wide resource, and we'll be brought in to try and bring that vehicle to a stop safely.
We're aware of a vehicle that's active in the area that's believed to be stolen and on false plates. So an officer's seen the vehicle, followed it covertly, and obviously called in for other patrols to get it safely stopped, which we've managed to do.
Ridding the streets of lethal weapons is a priority. Last year, this mission brought them into contact with the owner of some serious illegal weaponry.
So the suspect in this case first came to our attention as a result of intelligence and information suggesting that he was involved in the supply of drugs, and his behaviour, and what he was involved in, the criminality he was involved in, was clearly escalating when we received information stating that he was in possession of a firearm. Warrants were executed at several addresses on one particular day, and a firearm was recovered from one of his family members' addresses. It was found in a shed at the back of the address. This was a loaded 9mm semi-automatic firearm, so a significant recovery really for us, to take that weapon off the streets.
Though the weapon was secured, the man was still on the loose.
He was located actually with a little bit of luck. Operation Naseby patrols had identified a particular vehicle that had been frequenting the Eccles area of Salford in Greater Manchester. They didn't know that he was driving it at the time, but they just believed that it was a stolen vehicle that was had been put onto false number plates to try and hide the fact that it was stolen. It was engaged in quite a lengthy pursuit, during which this individual was believed to have almost driven at a police officer in an attempt to get away, and rammed one of the police vehicles in an attempt to get away, reversing into the pursuing police vehicle at one point. When the individual realised that he wasn't going to get away from this police vehicle, started to discard evidence from it through quite a large machete from the vehicle.
On the video, it looks like he's thrown a machete or something similar out.
A great piece of work by the Specialist Operations Department and the helicopter as well. Pilot and obviously the assistant on there, they were able to track him from the vehicle. He was arrested. All the evidence was recovered, the key to the vehicle was recovered, the machete was recovered as well. So he was brought to justice, basically. But we took 2 firearms off the streets, and obviously the machete, and recovered a stolen vehicle. And this individual who's been committing this crime is now in prison for a significant length of time. And it's all down to, you know, the teamwork from the officers in Operation Naseby.
The offender pleaded guilty to the 10 offences he was charged with, including dangerous driving and possession of an offensive weapon, a firearm, and Class B drugs. He was jailed for 5.5 years. The team's presence on the streets means they can act fast and decisively. In August last year, they were able to do just that.
This incident basically came to our attention from a vehicle that was being driven sort of in an antisocial manner in the streets. The patrols got behind the vehicle, signalled for it to stop, and it did initially. And when he was asked to get out of the vehicle, he declined and then decided to drive away from the officers in an attempt to get away. You'll see that he was driving in excess of 100 mile an hour on 30 mile an hour roads, driving on the opposite side of the road towards oncoming vehicles, going through red lights, turning out of junctions without looking properly, and they're taking massive risks. He was caught. He was in possession of a bladed weapon. In an attempt to get away, he slammed a gate on an officer and hit them in the head as well. The speeds at which he's driving are just ridiculous. Overtaking into oncoming traffic, you know, to hit a car at that speed, oncoming, the outcome is catastrophic and would most certainly lead to the loss of someone's life.
The driver pleaded guilty to handling stolen goods, failing to stop for police, dangerous driving, driving without insurance, and possession of an offensive weapon. He was sentenced to 22 months in prison, suspended for 2 years.
It's frustrating sometimes. The sentences that people receive at court when convicted don't always seem to fit the crimes. He received a custodial sentence, but it was a suspended sentence. So that basically means that he has to be of good behaviour now, and if he's caught committing any further crime, then he can go back to prison.
And such dangerous driving on the roads can result in the public paying the price. Something PC McClern witnessed whilst on operations in April 2021.
Myself and my colleague were on the junction of Waterloo Road and Berry New Road, just sat at the traffic lights. We were just looking for any car of note, really.
They tailed a suspicious vehicle before it took off at speed.
So once the pursuit commenced, the vehicle's then gone through red lights. I think it was around 70 miles an hour on the off side of the road. I think an item was thrown out the vehicle towards us, narrowly missing the vehicle. And it's by then when it's gone over another set of red lights. It's then shot over where the road, it's a T-junction, so obviously you can go through left and right, but when you turn left, there's a road just at the right where you can just cut down. Now with them going at high speed, they've obviously seen it and think we're going to go down there. However, it's misjudged it, it's just shot across over a pavement and into a bollard, where then we thought, oh, it's crashed.
Having mounted the pavement, the suspects make off, leaving a female pedestrian seriously injured.
She does have injuries that are going to affect her for the rest of her life. She had broken vertebrae, broken legs, and numerous cuts and bruises all over her body. And, you know, I do wish her well, and I wish it had never happened, to be honest, in that way, but unfortunately it did. And, you know, we have a job to do then to try and pick up the pieces and deal with that and bring the offenders to justice afterwards.
PC McClern chases one of the suspects on foot.
So my instinct straight away is just to go after him. And when I've gone after him, he's seen me. I've just grabbed the left side of my tack vest from a taser as he's still holding the knife. He's then just turned around and just ran away, still holding the knife. So I'm thinking, right, I don't know what he's going to do here, what his intentions are. He's then ran around the corner, and I was just catching him up slowly and slowly and slowly, to which point I then grabbed him and then able to detain him. And my colleague then eventually got round to me as well, where we were able to arrest him.
The driver pleaded guilty to causing serious injury by dangerous driving. handling stolen goods, driving without insurance, failing to stop for police, and failing to stop at the scene of a collision. He was sentenced to 4 years and 6 months in prison. His accomplice was convicted of aggravated vehicle taking, threatening a person with a bladed article, and possession of a bladed article. He was sentenced to 1 year and 9 months in prison. Back on the streets, the team have pulled over a vehicle of interest, and they've made an arrest.
There's a strong smell of cannabis emanating from your vehicle, and you've already admitted to having cannabis on your person, okay? So I detained for the purposes of a stop search.
We saw the vehicle at the lights as we sort of approached it, and he made off at speed. So when we got behind it, we thought he was going to make off, but he didn't. I think he was just driving quite quickly. But there's some information on the vehicle that suggested that it's maybe involved in drug supply, so we thought we'd give it a stop to search.
You want to just put around the back of the car, get you onto the pavement so you're safe, mate?
Straight away, as soon as we spoke to him, he admitted that he had cannabis in the car with him. So we're just going to search it to make sure that there's not more than what he's volunteered up, basically. Sometimes people do that in the hope that we won't search for further things that may be in the car.
Your eyes are glazed, you've been found in possession of cannabis. I suspect that you're driving a motor vehicle whilst under the influence of cannabis. So because of that, I'm going to require you to participate in a preliminary roadside drug wipe, OK?
This chap's been taken out of his vehicle and we're going to do a drugs wipe on him, because obviously his eyes are quite glazed as well.
Just stick your tongue out for me as far as you can.
Drugs wipe's basically saliva wipe, so a bit like a COVID test, and it tests for drugs, cocaine or cannabis, and just like a COVID test, it'll come up with a line on whether it's positive or negative.
Right, OK, mate, at this point in time, you failed, OK, you provided a positive sample for cannabis. Right. I'm going to arrest you on suspicion of driving whilst over the limit for a specified controlled drug, OK?
Right, so you're under arrest now, mate. I'm going to put you in the back of this car, all right, over here.
The man was released under investigation, pending blood results. The operation has only been running for 2 years, but its results speak for themselves.
It's been tremendously successful. It's led to the arrest of almost 270 people that probably wouldn't have been arrested at that particular time, because those officers wouldn't have been there to arrest them, basically. The recovery of hundreds of vehicles, over 300 vehicles have been recovered, the majority of which have been stolen or put onto false number plates to evade detection by the police. So all those things, the drugs that we've recovered, hundreds of thousands of pounds worth of drugs, firearms, weapons, machetes, all taken off the streets.